You're listening to Into the Box,
the brand new podcast series brought to you by Milton Keynes Dance Theatre,
where we'll exclusively interview our artists
as we delve into the creative process behind this youth dance company's latest production, Pandora.
Hi, Harry.
Hi, Danny. We have got a very exciting second episode coming up this week, haven't we?
Oh, we do. We have a very interesting guest coming on, one of the very few boys within our company. So it will be a really interesting dynamic in comparison to the interview we had last week with Jess.
And also, he's not related to either of us.
We won't be doing any of the sibling rivalries we had last week, crushing me under her weight.
Can I just say, she does cheat in board games. I know she said she doesn't, but she does.
I think every sibling cheats in a board game.
I'm not really that bothered about board games because I'm not really competitive. If I had the choice to not be in a competition, I'd just be like, I'm not getting involved.
We do stand Gemma Collins in the ballet community. Well, at least our ballet community. I'm not sure about every other ballet community.
I'm not sure she's a typical ballet idol. I mean, you love Stephen McRae.
Oh, right. Okay, of course you're bringing up Stephen McRae. I am not a super fan, but I do appreciate the man.
If he'd have really been there watching our dance school show. So basically, we had Edward Watson, principal dancer,
icon, legend,
in the audience for one of our ballet shows because his niece goes to our ballet school. And my mum got the wrong end of the stick and she thought it was Stephen McRae in the audience. So she was going around spreading a vicious rumour, Stephen McRae's watching. And then Owen was like, really? Is he? Because he didn't know. Because obviously he wasn't watching.
He didn't know either.
And we were all going, Stephen McRae's watching. But I mean, Edward Watson is not of a lower standard than Stephen McRae.
Oh my God, no.
He's just not the same person.
No.
So there was a bit of an error there.
I went to go meet Edward because he came backstage after the show. I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit starstruck. If Edward Watson ever listens to this, I'm so sorry that the first impression you got of me was me screaming, I think you're really awesome, into your face. I do apologise. And he just kind of did one of those, thanks. And then he just walked off. And then I remember Miss Gemma, she comes up to me at the end and she just pats me on the back and goes, that'll be you one day. I'm what Owen calls the ballet boss.
Whenever we're doing any variation, any exercise, this reminds me a little bit of Lola and Carmen telling us where you remember it from because you've just watched all the ballets. Do you watch them on YouTube?
Yeah, I watched them on the Royal Opera House YouTube channel, which, by the way, Royal Opera House, this is a bit of free promo for you, so take it as you will.
Can you sponsor us, actually?
Please and thank you. They released full ballets over the first lockdown, and that's what I spent my time doing. But to bring it back to the show that is coming up, the next interview with David Dean, we're going to have him on here in a minute. It's going to be very exciting.
I'm really excited to hear his opinions. So shall we get to it and introduce him?
Let's go. So now we're welcoming on our second ever guest onto the podcast series. It's David.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Not too bad, lockdown 3, but what can we do?
We move.
Feels like lockdown 5 at this point.
Yeah.
How are you finding the Zoom classes?
Oh, let's not talk about it. I don't have a pair of socks that doesn't have holes in anymore.
Oh yeah, the less said about that, the better.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a bit about your introduction into MKDT? Because it was quite unorthodox.
Yeah, I came in very weirdly in the sense that Max Thomas, who played Tybalt last year in Romeo and Juliet, he spoke to me because we go to the same college and he was there like, we need another boy in this performance at MK Dance Theatre. He explained a lot of it to me. He said it's contemporary ballet, neoclassical, so I won't just be doing ballet, which is a good thing because let's not talk about technique.
Don't put yourself down. Considering that you'd only done 2 months of dance.
I didn't know what pirouette was 2 months before.
Wow.
Taking that into consideration, what was it that made you think, all right, why not? It's completely out of my comfort zone, but I'll give this a go.
I'd only ever done acting before Arts 1, which is where I was training and still am. But then when we started doing more dance and singing, it shoved me out of my comfort zone. But I loved it. It was something that I could really connect with. I'm active anyway. I'm always jumping about somehow. So I thought, let's just try and make it look good now. So Max mentioned it and I thought, why not? We'll see how it goes.
Did you know you were coming in as Romeo?
No, but Max explained it to me and he was like, we need someone to be the priest. But there was a confusion. He had mentioned to Owen that we have a mate called Miles, who is also at Arts One, who's this 6'4" giant of a man. And people thought that I was Miles when I came in. And I was considerably shorter than 6'4". So I thought I was going to come in and potentially play the priest. And then because of my height, which actually helped me in this case, Owen put me and Amy in a room. Jess taught us some choreography and he was like, yeah, okay, Romeo. And I was like, oh, okay.
Oh my God. What went through your mind when Owen went, Romeo?
I kind of gathered it throughout the day, and then I think some people were saying, yeah, no, I think you're going to play Romeo. And then I found out right at the end, it was scary at first, but it was very comfortable considering it's out of your comfort zone. Because when you're looking from the outside, it's like, I'm going to go somewhere, they're going to give me a big role on stage. I've never done this before. But when I actually came in and I was kind of introduced to everyone, it felt fine.
Coming in late, how did you handle that?
I'm a people person, so I love getting to know new people anyway. So it was just kind of like, go in and chill, just be yourself. And it worked. Everyone was nice when I came in. So.
When you came in, how did you find the MKDT environment in terms of the support that you got in progressing your dance when you'd only been doing it for a short amount of time?
I don't think anyone knew that I hadn't been doing it for that long on the first day.
Not until you told us.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think I told Owen that I'd never danced on stage until about a week before the performance.
Oh.
I think I struggled with it more last year compared to this year. It was very much like, there's all of these people, they're incredible. But once I accepted, they've been doing this since they were 2, I've been doing it for 2 months, I thought, why not? Let's just have fun with it. Let's make a joke out of it, let's laugh about it. And it made me so much more comfortable.
Well, I have to say, you did so well coming in. If I was in your position, I would have been like a rabbit in the headlights. Did you find that because you had acting experience and also parkour, there were transferable skills from those disciplines that you could bring into dance?
Definitely the flipping, parkour, free running. Because it's such a physical thing. It's you moving your body in different ways and challenging your body. No one was designed to jump over their heads and land back on their feet. We're designed to be able to just walk or run forward. So I'd already kind of got the experience of just throw yourself into it. Hope you do well. If you don't land it, try again. The amount of times that I've landed on my head doing not even flips, just stupid stuff in general. You just pick yourself up and you try to do it again.
How MKDT functions. The ethos, as Jess was telling us last week, is all about just giving things a go that you don't necessarily always know. Did you think that everybody and their different experiences helped build you to be a better dancer?
100%. If no one around me was supportive or like, yeah, just throw yourself into it, I would not have done well at all. Because I would have just been in my head this whole time, like I've got to show myself off more and try and do all these things that they're doing. But the way MK Dance Theatre works, I felt so much nicer being there. Everyone was saying the good things that I was doing. Some of them were going around for 4 pirouettes, which to some people is crazy, me. To other people isn't. And I was stuck on my singles. I didn't know what turnout was. I didn't know what to do with my body. But the things that I did know how to do and were trying to improve, it was working. I remember, Danielle, you actually helped me with my ballet pirouettes. We weren't actually rehearsing because we weren't in that scene. And you were just like, turn out your leg, good. Prepare like this. Stuff like that really helps you because you're just having fun.
Yeah, like no pressure.
Exactly. And if you feel pressure in dance, you do worse.
It's great to see that's how you think, because it's a real testament to you as a dancer to come from not having any experience to what you're doing now. Obviously, everyone else can say this, but do you think personally you've gotten better?
Definitely, yeah. Overall technique, flow, allowing myself to actually be bigger in dance. When I get nervous, I bring my arms in almost like I'm about to box someone. And that's changed. That's almost disappeared. I just feel so much more comfortable. I'm not worrying about, oh, am I going to get round for this? Is my leg perfectly straight? I'm thinking, it will be perfectly straight. I will get round for it. And it's mainly a mental game more than a physical game.
So you've mentioned Pandora, this second MKDT production. So what was it after being in Romeo and Juliet that made you think, yeah, I'll sign up for this one. I'd really like to work with the company again?
Oh, just everything. I don't know, how do you pick one thing? I think the rehearsal process can be very tiring, especially when it does come to show weeks, when you're constantly in whilst also working or school. And there's so much reward, especially on that final show, when you're all just stood in front of the audience, we've just run on, spun, bowed. It's something you don't get anywhere else in life than I think performance, being on stage, whether it's dance, singing, acting, anything. It's that feeling of achievement that made me want to come back. So I'm like, I just did a dance performance as Romeo when I'd never done anything like it before. I'm going to come back and do whatever I'm going to do in Pandora. I was just happy to be back.
In Pandora, you are playing 2 roles, not just the one this time. So taking on even more of a challenge than last time, David, always pushing the boundaries. How has the process been thinking about these 2 roles, especially in COVID lockdowns and over Zoom classes? How have you developed your role out of the studio?
I didn't know the story of Epimetheus and Prometheus when I first got the roles, so I was very confused. I was lucky enough to have a mate who knows everything about Greek mythology, who let me know, but they're brothers. Prometheus, he steals the fire. I don't want to give too much away about the scene, but it's not set movement. I've got a lot of freedom with what I'm going to do with that character. I've got a direction where I need to move with the character, but I can put my own thing into it, and that's where a lot of acting comes in as well, because it's kind of freedom, and I've got to portray this mysterious character, but I need to know everything that I'm doing. Whereas Epimetheus is very much routined, it's danced. I have to tell a story of years of his life within a short period of time. So trying to approach that, especially in lockdown, is difficult because there is no one around me besides my family. So trying to think about those same emotions that you've got to portray is my main concern. But we're getting it done.
We've covered your Act 1 role. Within Act 2, we move into the world of the sins. How does it feel being in a conceptual role?
So I'm both wrath and lust, obviously in a group of people, not just me. It's weird to portray something that you can't physically be, because my dance experience is mainly either just classes or it's being the character of Romeo. All the dance that you're doing for both lust and wrath are very, very different. Lust needs to be a lot more smooth. There needs to be a backstory or undertones of what you're actually trying to portray. It's quite a deep subject in a lot of ways. Whereas wrath is what a lot of us understand as anger. It's very punch the floor.
Kind of knee-jerk reaction.
Exactly. But to be able to portray 2 completely different things makes it so much better. It's challenging. And I love a challenge. We've established that.
With you playing your 2 sins, what relevance do you think they have to our modern day society and also you as an individual that you try and portray when you're dancing them?
There was a day that we all sat down and Owen decided to workshop the idea of these different sins, which was genius. And it was very interesting to see everyone come up with these different things. We discussed in modern day world, what could lust be? What could wrath be? Where do we see these things? And for lust, my group very much went down the route of the Harvey Weinstein issue and everything happening in Hollywood, and thought that would be a good thing to both get emotion out of us that is relevant and also something that people can all connect with in some way or another. Everyone has a joint hatred towards everything that did happen.
So you mentioned the research process. Obviously with research comes the skill of having to go out and make your own ideas and concepts. Do you think that's helped you outside of things like college, because you go to a dance college?
You start to experiment, I think, subconsciously with these different things, because the idea of all of these different sins exists in all of us, because Pandora releases it into the world, so everyone will experience these different things all of the time. So I think the first time I got angry after we talked about all of that, I was thinking wrath. I can imagine Oakley next to me. A few performances or little things that we did in class at college, I was thinking, how would you change the style depending? And in an acting workshop, we did elements. Which element are you? And then it reminded me of wrath, lust. Where would I put myself for those things, as well as the actual thing we were doing in class?
This time round in the cast, not only did you come back yourself, you brought somebody else from your dance college, Oakley. What made you go, I've got to recommend MKDT to him, I've got to get him in this experience?
How do you start with Oakley? The talent that comes out of him is insane. He's an amazing actor, he's an incredible singer, and me and him started in the same place with dance. So I thought, I enjoyed it so much. It doesn't matter what you go on to do, this is going to be a great experience to put in even your performer CV and stuff like that. It's incredible to have. I mentioned it to him, I think at the start he was kind of unsure, he was like, auditions, but it's incredible how far he's come. I remember the first time I actually saw him dance, because our groups were split because of COVID, and I was amazed. I was like, where's this guy come from? Stop it. I was the original. It's something that I would recommend to everyone, and him being one of my closest mates at college especially, he just had to experience it.
You mentioned a little bit, obviously, the pandemic that we're in the middle of. I don't know if you guys know about that.
I haven't heard of that, actually. Pandemic? What?
For you, as a cast member, how do you feel that changed the MKDT process?
It's weird. We all know it, no matter what you're doing, whether it's dance especially, or just in everyone's ordinary lives. So I've never done a proper dance audition in my life.
Still.
Because of the pandemic, yeah. As much as being in your homes and kicking cabinets and hitting lights is not ideal, I feel like it's actually helped a lot of people in the way that they do dance. Dancing around a lounge, as weird as it sounds, is so much more interesting. Trying to do proper choreography in a confined space and sometimes weird spaces makes you explore different ways to do it. That aspect of it, I think, is really going to bring a lot into Pandora, because dancing in these small spaces with performances that could be on a big stage, so being able to move those things over is going to be incredible. And I think we have seen that when we were allowed back in the studio again. You saw that people at the start, they'd be dancing a little bit smaller, but then they get bigger and bigger and bigger, to the point where I'd never seen them dance that well and different and big before. It's challenging, but there's a lot of positives that have come out of it in a very abstract way.
In terms of your future, is this your last year of college?
It is. I'm doing auditions currently.
Ooh, where are you auditioning?
Well, there is a lot of dancey places. I'm going for Erdang, Bird, PPA, Italia Conti, GSA, Performers, and Stella Man.
Oh, nice. Some people only do MKDT because they enjoy the hobby. You obviously want to take it on as a career. So do you think MKDT has offered you skills that will help you in your aspirations?
100%. This is what you would do with professional work. You'd be creating and devising and then putting on a performance. You don't just do that in classrooms all the time, or if you do, it's in a small space with usually a smaller audience. So I know that when it does come to unis and when it comes to my professional career in the future, the overall basis is the same. You wouldn't go and do your driving test now without any lessons in the car. So why would you jump into a professional career when you've not had any experience before? It wouldn't make sense. It's definitely prepared me, and it's made me excited and less worried. I'm just happy to get into it.
Just to cap it off, what advice would you give to someone coming into their first production with MKDT to get the most out of it?
Throw yourself into it. Come with a positive attitude. Don't worry about if something wasn't perfect. Think about what you're going to do about that. Just relax, have fun. Owen does not judge you for that. And most importantly, finish whatever you were going to do, because that's Owen's number one rule. Finish everything, have fun with it, be happy no matter how it goes.
Thank you so much for talking to us, David. I've got to say, as a member of the cast, I love having you on the cast.
You are an absolute joy to be around, honestly. As we say, it's a no judgment zone at MKDT, and you really make sure that's enforced.
I am judgment police.
No judgment police.
I am the sheriff of this no judgment zone. If I see anyone judging, I shoot you with a no judgment gun.
You set that precedent for people where we're just here to have fun and be better people, not judge people. And I think that's really, really nice. We have one final surprise for you.
We've decided for all of our interviewees to create a quick-fire question competition where we ask you as many questions as you can answer in 1 minute to get to know you a bit better.
We just want the first thing that comes to your mind. The time starts after the first question is read out.
So this week, Danny is going to be asking the questions and I'm going to be keeping count of your scores and doing the timer.
So here comes the first question. David, are you ready?
I'm ready.
First dance show you were in?
Romeo and Juliet, MK Dance Theatre.
What's one of your nicknames?
I can't say that one. Dave.
Worst food?
Oh, Brussels sprouts.
Proudest moment?
Romeo and Juliet.
Biggest pet peeve?
Tapping. When people tap.
Are aliens real?
In some forms, yes.
Most embarrassing moment?
My pants were pulled down in front of people.
Favourite style of dance?
Street contemporary.
Are you motivated more by criticism or praise?
Criticism.
Party trick?
I can do flips.
Advice to your younger self?
Stop eating as much, do
And
exercise.
time is up.
Oh.
So, David, I can reveal that you answered 11 questions in that time. So, you don't actually know what Jess got yet. So, do you think that was good or bad?
It was worse than Jess. You said first dance production. I got confused about it. There's so much pressure. I'm going to guess Jess got like 17.
Jess actually last week scored 21.
I was going to say 20, but I thought, no.
I'm going to give you a bit of an excuse. You can blame it on the Zoom lag. Jess was here with me last week, so there was no lag for her.
If you're listening, Jess, I would have won that. You had an advantage.
When we're able to get back into the studio, let's do a head-to-head. Before we go, we just want to say a few admin-y things. So if you're listening to this as a podcast, then it would be great if you could subscribe and also rate us wherever you're listening. Give us your feedback.
Yeah, any feedback would be welcomed. We absolutely want to start this conversation. Harry's Instagram's open, my Instagram's open, MKDT's Instagram is open.
Yeah, I'm Harry J. Yo.
I'm not going to try and pronounce my name because it's just too complicated. If you go on the Meet the Cast series on Instagram, my face will be on there somewhere and you can find my Instagram through there.
David, do you want to plug your Instagram while you're here?
Guys, my Instagram is david.x15. I made it when I was 15. You're welcome.
Thank you so much for talking to us, David, and we'll be back next week.
See you next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.